need to steal his cowboy hat. You literally need to wear his hat. This town would hate to know that I don't like milk either. On call to make him jealous. What? Literally what? Hello everyone, welcome back to my corner. Today we are going to be attempting to do a 24-hour readathon. Let's just say I'm scared. So for the rules is I'm going to try to read the entirety of 24 hours, and if I can't because I'm a grandma and I need my sleep, I'm going to try to read 12 hours today and then go to sleep 12 hours the next day. I will also be pausing the timer when I need to eat and shower and do all of my things, but the point is to read for the entirety of the 24-hour timer. Let's go over my TBR. I have 4 options. 2 of them are on my Kindle and then the other 2 are physical. So the first book is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. My favorite series of all time is Caraval. I have been putting this off because I do have a lot of expectations because everyone says it's better than Caraval, but I love Caraval. And who knows? What if I don't like it? That's what I'm scared of. But I love Stephanie Garber's writing because the way that she is able to transport me into another dimension needs to be studied. Another thing that I'm not ready for is that I loved Jax in finale from Caraval, and not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared to see him fall in love for someone else that's not Donatella. The next book that's not fantasy is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've heard such good things about this series, and I'm not someone who particularly likes cowboys, but everyone says that this series changed their minds on cowboys, and I feel like this is just like such a good book for summer. So we're gonna try it, and hopefully I'm into cowboys because I do have the entire series on my shelf. The next 2 that are on my Kindle is Night Shift, which I feel like this is going to be very fitting at nighttime. I'm going to try to read this at night. I don't really know much about it, to be honest. I just know that it's a cute romance with like a tutor and like a jock. They have to spend the night in a library or something, and that sounds kind of fun. And then the second book is The Rose Bargain. I am so excited for this book, but I'm trying to put my expectations down because I heard that it's like a forbidden romance and it has aggressive yearning, and I have been looking for that. So those are the 4 books. I am a slow reader, so who knows if I can even get through 2 or 3. But those are the options that we have, and I think we're going to start with Flawless. Let's see how this goes. I am currently 20 pages in, and our male main character's name is Rhett. He is like a famous bull rider, and he just got canceled for saying he doesn't like milk. You wanna know who doesn't like milk? I don't like milk. This town would hate to know that I don't like milk either. So it's officially been 2 hours, and let me tell you, this book has no reason to be this funny. As I've told you guys before, he got canceled for not liking milk. So he lost all his sponsorships, and in order to get them back, he now has a babysitter. Her name is Summer, which is our female main character. As of now, I find his POVs more entertaining. It's just like his inner monologue is so funny. He has two brothers. One of them is named Bo and Cade, and I'm still unsure whether Harvey is the dad or the brother, but they are so funny. And I'm not gonna lie, they're, I think Harvey's country accent, it throws me off. But Bo and Kate are so funny. And so the last thing I read was Bo, Summer, and their friend sending Rhett these like milk themed drinks because he got canceled for not liking milk. And it's so funny. And then at the end, Rhett goes along with it to purposefully make Summer laugh. And he says, and I quote, well, he didn't say it, he thought this. He says, "She's smiling at me now, and as much as I hate to admit it, I like her eyes on me." I fear you guys were right. I fear you guys were right. This series is so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm having so much fun. Update. Clearly, it's not morning anymore. We are 5 hours into this challenge. Okay, 5 hours. So we have like 18-ish hours left. I'm going to try to stay up until we have 12 hours left, and then we're going to go to bed and we're going to continue this tomorrow. But let's just talk about Flawless real quick. Last time I updated you guys, I was still kind of figuring out the characters and like the plot. So basically, I just think it is so insanely hilarious that this man is going through all of this because he doesn't like milk. And it's so funny because it's just like a running on theme. Like anytime that he has to do something that he doesn't like, or like something happens that he hates, he like tells himself, all because I don't like milk. And I just think that is so hilarious because I hate milk too. Sue me. So basically, Summer and Rhett have to work together to make sure that he looks good to the public eye. And essentially, as they're spending more time together, he is like starting to see her differently. What is so funny is that it turns out that she has had a crush on him since she was a teenager. And so, like, anytime that they experience any moment together, she like thinks to herself, like, oh my gosh, teenage me would be thrilled right now. At first, I was like, kind of like wanting and expecting more from the characters. Like I needed more depth. I love when characters, specifically in romance books, have like some more backstory and some more depth, like some internal problems or some problems in their life, because I feel like it makes them more real and more realistic instead of just focusing on the romance. I've noticed that a lot of adult romances, the characters don't really have depth, and so I can't really connect to them, and it just makes the book so much worse than it should be. Okay? And literally, as I was thinking that, a couple pages later, we got some backstory on who he is and what he's kind of like conflicted with himself. And there have been so many instances in this book where I'm thinking, okay, this book doesn't have this, or this book would be better if it had this, and then a couple pages later it happens. Like, sorry, I'm sorry, Elsie Silver, for doubting you. Clearly, I just need to trust you. Clearly, I just need to trust you. But yeah, let's discuss some scenes that I hope are not spoilers, because I don't know if you can see, I already have some tabs in there. I am having the time of my life, let me tell you. Okay, so the most recent one that I read is with this character named Emmett, who is, I'm assuming, Rhett's like rival. I don't know. We don't really have much information except for the fact that Rhett doesn't trust him. He doesn't really like him.
I never found you funny. I never found you entertaining. I never found you smart. I just found you annoying.
I'm not sure if he's like they have like this competitive or like this backstory as to why, or if he really just is a jerk, which so far he seems to be just a jerk. But there is kind of like this misinterpretation between Rhett and Summer, and so Summer goes on a date with him, technically, to a bar. Basically, Emmett and Summer are flirting with each other and laughing and having drinks, and then we have Rhett in the corner, just like staring him down. She's over here like riding the mechanical bull. She's having the time of her life, and he's just over here fighting the urge to not be a jealous boyfriend because technically they are not dating. And then, and then, I don't remember if Emmett put the hat on Summer or if Summer took his cowboy hat and put it on herself. And he's like, "That's it." And he gets up and leaves directly towards them. And Summer's over here like, "What's going on?" And then Emmett and Rhett are kind of having this like conflict. And then in the next chapter, apparently, you wear the hat, you ride the cowboy. And I'm thinking to myself, so you need to steal his cowboy hat. You literally need to wear his hat. Another thing that is like making this stand out so much is that a lot in adult romance, it's like I said, there's not really depth to the characters, but also I feel like there's a lot of lust. For example, this much of the book is them getting to know each other and not really connecting. And then this half of the book, it's just them sleeping together. And that makes me read these scenes with a straight face, not even giggling or enjoying them because I don't know who these characters are. I don't know why they're sleeping with each other. But this, I am halfway into the book and they've only had one kiss. One kiss. I have been giggling and blushing, and like I feel so much chemistry and connection between these characters that like when the scenes come, because I'm like 90% sure that this book will have scenes, I will actually enjoy them and I will understand why we care. I love it. I'm having so much fun. Okay, guys, not gonna lie, I'm starting to get sleepy. I am pretty far into the book. I feel like I can definitely finish this tonight. I might have to move to my desk because I feel like sitting prevents me from like getting sleepy. Why are they doing it on call to make him jealous? What? Literally, what? Also, tell me why she is low key living a teenage girl's dream. Okay, she is literally YN from Wattpad because she had posters all over her walls of this man, and now she's like living her fantasies as like her teenage fantasies. Like, what? She's everything that the YNs wanted to be. So we finished the first book, and please ignore how raspy my voice sounds. I literally just woke up. Are whoa, they're both like, oh my gosh. Thinking of going with this one. It's about Evangeline Fox. I'm thinking of going with this one just because I'm in the mood to escape and just be immersed into a story, and I know that Stephanie Garber can do that. So we're gonna give her a chance. This follows Evangeline, who believes in true love, and then she finds out that her true love is getting married to another person, and so he makes a deal with Jack, who is actually another character in the Caraval series, and I personally really like him. I think he deserved better. So hopefully he gets better. But yeah, I think this is what I'm leaning towards. I'm honestly not really craving my Kindle right now, so let's get to it. I apparently be doing, oh my gosh, I literally can't talk. I seem to be doing a really bad job at updating. We have like 14 hours left of the challenge, which I think is plenty of time to read 2 books. I've made it pretty far into this book. We have like 10 hours left, so I think this is my progress like 5-ish hours later. And I'm not kidding, Stephanie Garber puts crack in her books. This book has secured her spot as my favorite author of all time. She just has a way of writing that just immerses you into the story, and it's just so magical, and I love it. Like, there's something so comforting about her books. I actually wanted to see if she was writing any more books because as of now I'm pretty sure she only has the Caraval series and this series, and apparently she's coming out with a new book called Alchemy of Secrets, and it comes out this October. So I will be reading that. Anyways, about the book. She makes a deal with Jax, who in the original Caraval series, he is a fate and he's definitely a character, but I personally really liked him and I wish he had a different ending. She basically goes to him and wants to make a deal with him in order for him to stop the wedding, and in return he asks her for 3 kisses, and so he chooses who she kisses and at what time she kisses. And it turns into this whole thing, which, by the way, her supposed true love is apparently marrying her stepsister. And let me tell you about this stepsister. I do not trust her, and this is one thing that I really like about Evangeline is that she gives people the benefit of the doubt, and she is just like too kind. She has all these expectations of love and she sees the good in people, and so you kind of see where people are giving her signs not to trust her, but Evangeline just keeps trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. And there are times where I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm just overthinking this and she maybe does have true intentions, but my gut is telling me not to trust her, and I'm kind of finding her annoying. So yeah, we are currently trying to figure out what Jack's intentions really are, because that's one thing that is very consistent from Caraval is that when it comes to the fates, you think that their words are just pretty straightforward, but there is some room for misinterpretation in there. Another thing, Scarlett and Donatella from Caraval series made a cameo, and I miss them so much, and it's making me want to reread Caraval. So yeah, that's the update that I have so far. We have 10 hours left. We'll see how long it takes for me to finish this other half, and then we're going to start the next book. So I have officially finished Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I don't have many updates plot-wise because I don't want to spoil anything, but pretty much what I mentioned before is the plot, and it continues on throughout the rest of the story. I do have to say that I am very appreciative that there is a soft female main character, especially in a fantasy series, because a lot of female main characters, especially in fantasy books, are very strong and confident and bold, and Evangeline is considered naive and hopeful and romantic, and it doesn't set her back, and she stays very true to her character. So she likes to see the best in people, and she likes to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I just really appreciate that. Now we officially have like 5-ish hours left, and I think I'm going to read The Night Shift instead of The Rose Bargain. I don't think that I can handle a fantasy book right now after finishing a fantasy book, and I think that The Night Shift will just be really refreshing and easier for my brain. The main character keeps fantasizing about him, and I just think that's so funny. Like, she keeps comparing him to the guys in her mafia books, and she just keeps fantasizing the things that she wants to do with him, and I think that's so funny. Like, she says right here, he could be the mafia hitman, the alpha of the pack, the cutthroat billionaire with daddy issues. He could scoop me up with his good arm, pin my back to a bookshelf deep in the stacks, and film me. He'd whisper dirty things to me too. What? Okay, so we officially have approximately 4 hours left into the challenge. And so far, this book is really fast paced. It was going by really, really fast, and I just realized that it's under 300 pages. That's literally perfect. I'm 18% into the book, and so far, we know our two main characters, which is Vincent and Kendall, and she is so incredibly real. I'm going to read a quote from the book, and it says, I discreetly retrieved the mafia's princess from the depths of my backpack. The cover is humiliating. I don't know who made the executive decision to put naked male torsos on romance novels, but I have a sneaking suspicion that some big shot marketing executive wanted to shame me for buying an e-reader so I wouldn't have to be seen holding this in public. And honestly, whoever decided or whoever normalized putting oiled up abs on romance covers, what are you doing? What are you doing? She thought that Vincent wouldn't realize that she was reading smut, and now it's his running on joke that she reads smut, and I just think that's so funny. But basically, Vincent wanted poetry recommendations for his English class, and so Summer goes and helps him, and Summer works the night shift at their 24-hour library. So she basically works at the library until 5 in the morning. So he happens to be there. And they basically end up having a hot makeout session in the middle of the library. I really enjoyed the library scene from Twisted Haze. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like library. So far, he's a really charming character. Like the way that he flirts and teases is it's really cute. It's really cute in my opinion. We'll see how the romance progresses. I personally am really enjoying it, and like I said, it's really, really fast. Like I'm already 18% into the book, and I just started reading like 30 minutes ago. So we have officially finished reading for 24 hours, and let me just tell you, I don't know how you guys are able to pull this off, especially reading for 24 hours straight. I wouldn't say that I succeeded. I was slowly losing my brain cells by the second day. I had no energy in me, and I actually ended up falling asleep for 4 hours. I made sure to read the 24-hour timer, so technically I did read 24 hours. I would say that this video is more to see how many books I can read within 24 hours. Definitely not 24 hours straight. That was so rough. But since we finished this, let's talk about the books that I read in today's challenge and what my overall thoughts are. The first book that I read was Flawless by Elsie Silver, and this was such a good book to start off because it's just like a quick, fun romance. And I personally really, really like this book. I really liked Summer's character, however, I definitely enjoyed Rhett's POVs better. His inner monologue, hilarious. all the people in his life are hilarious. I'm shocked at how hilarious this book was. That is not at all what I expected going into this. And I'm really, really excited to keep reading this series and keep learning more about Red's brothers. And I for sure think that this was such a great start to a romance series. What tends to happen in romance series is people don't really like the first book, and I have heard that this first book is not the best. However, I definitely think that it's good on its own. Is it probably better than the rest of the books in the series? Probably not, but I definitely think that it's really good and it gets you hooked and started on the series. And I am with you, Red. I am an avid milk hater until the day that I die. So overall, I gave this book 4 stars instead of 5 stars, and the only reason for that is because the third act breakup. Romance books are known to have the third act breakup, and most of the time, and I mean 99% of the time, it's miscommunication. And this one, in my opinion, was so stupid. Like, you can tell that this was forced and was only there because the romance book has to have a third act breakup. However, Rhett did not deserve to get the blame. I think that Summer needs to focus and really see where the issue is, because it's definitely not right. Unfortunately, that third act breakup was enough for me to lose a star. It was just so out of pocket. The second book that I read was Once Upon a Broken Heart, and oh my goodness, it was so comforting to step back into Stephanie Garber's writing. I love this book. The main takeaway that I got from this book was Evangeline's character. It was so refreshing, and I did mention this, so I'll try not to repeat myself, but to see a soft character and see her character from start to finish. It is very common in fantasy books for the main character to be weaker than the others, and then when it comes to them stepping up and being brave, it is so easy for them to just like flip a switch and step into that role. It is really easy to overlook, but in my opinion, deep down, I do pay attention to it and I do think it is out of character. But Evangeline, she is such like a hopeful, naive, like she gives people the benefit of the doubt. She's so kind and she stays that way from start to finish. And I love that Stephanie Garber does not mind to dig her toes in and make things messy if it means that her characters are her characters. Evangeline makes so many mistakes. She trusts the wrong people, and it makes the plot messier and it makes everything more complicated for her. However, I think it is worth it if it means that her character is true. And I found it easier for me to connect to this character and feel for her because it's who she is. And I loved it. There were a lot of scenes between Jax and Evangeline that had my heart throbbing. Jax is still the same character that he was in Caraval, but there wasn't as much romance as everyone said there was. I don't get me wrong, it's just the first book. There probably is more in the second and the third one, but as of now, not much. So I do give this book 4 stars out of 5 stars. That doesn't mean it's a bad book. I just definitely think that it could be better. Then we have the third book that we read in this video, Night Shift. Last time I updated you guys, I was having a blast. I was very happy and content until things took a turn. I mentioned how Kendall is a bookworm and she takes a lot of the perspectives that she learns from her books into her real life. She applies them into her real life. At first, it was funny until it just got cringe. There were a lot of things that she would complain about, for example, not being like other girls, the miscommunication trope in romance books, and yet she would do it in her real life. Like, she would do these things to Vincent and she was aware that she was doing it, and she still kept doing it again. I was torn between giving this book 3 stars or 1 star. It didn't get 3 stars because I would not recommend this to anyone. Is it a quick, fun romance? Yes, but I definitely don't think that it's worth it. You can definitely find better romance books. The reason it didn't get 1 stars was because of Vincent Knight. This main character had so much potential. He is such like a cheeky, flirty guy. It was so entertaining to read his scenes until Kendall started talking. I definitely think that Vincent deserves better. Like, he deserves another female main character that is not Kendall. She is just, no, no, we don't like her here. He had so much potential in any other romance with any other female main character, and sadly, this is what he got. So yeah, I do give this 2 stars. Was it the worst book I've ever read? No. Was it the best? Definitely not. So it was a little bit disappointing to end off this challenge like this because we had read 2 really good books, but it was still fun. So in the end, I managed to read 3 books in the span of 24 hours. Would I do this again? Probably not. But I did think that it was really fun to experience. I wanted to do this at least once in my life. So I definitely enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll see you next time.